Hi, I'm Maureen Carroll with Anamcar Press, and I'm here today interviewing Dennis M. Hargis. And Dennis is the author of the new book, How to Be Happy Being You. Welcome, Dennis. Thank you for being here with me.
Why, thank you.
So, your book is very intriguing. And I think that, one can't help but just want to grab any book that talks about happiness in such a difficult world we are in today. What led you to write a book called How to Be Happy Being You, and who is it for?
Well, I've had extensive experience in working with youth, anywhere from preschooler to high school, in fact. But the work that I did with the age group of 12 to 19 seemed to fascinate me quite a bit because I worked in a psychiatric institution, I worked at a youth center, and I worked in the public schools. And I found a lot of kids or young people just struggling kind of to get by in life. A lot of times they didn't really feel good about themselves. They were kind of lost. They didn't really have a direction. They weren't going in they weren't really enjoying life, I guess is what I say. And a lot of times they felt bad about themselves. They kept putting themselves down, and they didn't seem to be going anywhere. So I just wanted to I guess after spending all those years and working with them, I just wanted to leave something behind, something that has strategies that I have worked with successfully with these kids. I wanted to share them with others, so perhaps they won't go through as many difficulties as myself growing up or all of these other kids that I've worked with.
And what was your role when you worked with these youth?
Well, I had a number of roles. I started out my career, well, as a teacher at the college for actually the little kids, for the preschoolers. And then I went into the public education and became a school psychologist for kids kindergarten through high school. Once I got through that, took a short little break. Then I worked at a special purpose school at a state hospital with psychiatric patients, well, with the adolescents there. We also had a youth center located on the hospital grounds, and they attended our school also. It was there that I developed an anger control program that I presented across the country. And we that particular program was kind of revised to be a little bit more fun for the kids because kids at a psychiatric hospital, it's kind of hard to have fun there. And finally I ended up as a principal in the public school system. So um, kind of various roles, but the thing is, it's just really hard for kids to grow up in this world right now, and there's a lot of pain, and there's a lot of problems. The statistics will tell you that our kids are not getting better in their mental health; are actually getting worse. They're on a decline. So, thought it was very important if I could maybe present some of the strategies that I have learned. Perhaps it will help other kids.
Now, is your book meant for teenagers to read, or is it meant for adult professionals to read, or parents? Who's it actually for?
Well, it could kind of be for both. The thing is, it's addressed to teenagers, but I think it's very important that adults read it, like parents and social workers and any kind of support service for the kids. Because once they read the book, they will understand the concepts, and therefore they can share it with, the kids that they work with, and kind of guide them, and kind of be there if they have any questions. But the book is actually written for the teenagers, and it's written in their language, and so it's directly written towards them.
And it also has artwork and heroes, or you use illustrations, both literal illustrations and illustrations of people that young people might relate to today. Can you
The
can you help me
illustration,
to try to say what I'm saying?
well, the illustrations in there are wonderful, and they're actually used because there's an actual program to teach kids how to identify their feelings. And so the illustrations, most of them are in that particular category because it helps the kids with the comprehension, and and it also helps focus and makes it a little bit more interested and entertaining. So the illustrations help a lot with, I think, the comprehension and just the visual aesthetics of it.
Yeah, Julia Kubitz is your illustrator, and did a really fantastic job. And can you also tell us about the examples you've used of people that might be well known today by young people?
Well, yeah, we picked kind of role models. I mean, I went through a number of role models, but they were kind of like outdated. So I kind of did some research and looked at some of the more current people, and I found out that some of our current popular people has amazing virtues and characteristics behind them. For instance, Taylor Swift, I had no idea how compassionate she is and how much she relates and follows her fans, on popular media. Uh, she is amazing considering her popularity and probably the time that she has. And then there's other people like Dwayne Johnson, perfect example of someone who did shows perseverance. The way he grew up with his father and in the gym, and you know where he is right now today. Keanu Reeves, probably maybe one of the most generous people in Hollywood. I remember in this one situation, he had a set, I think it was, see, I'm not sure which series it was, but in order to reward the people on the set, he bought everybody a Harley Davidson motorcycle. So um, there's Princess Diana. I mean, we all know her legacy for kindness and her outreach. So, and then Michael Phelps, our Olympic person who broke the record, what, with 8 gold medals at an Olympic. And again, talk about determination. I mean, not only did he have the talent, but he would go out first thing in the morning when it was dark, swim until it was time to go to school, went to school, then would swim until it became night. And he did that for years. And so these are the type of people I think that the kids look up to. And I think these are the type of virtues that we want in our kids, because we need kids. The world is becoming a very difficult place, and we need kids who can make valued judgment decisions, because we need this world to be a better place because of all the difficulties that there are to face.
Yeah, and obviously with those examples and the illustrations that are geared to be of interest to people that are young and also older, I will admit, because I thought they're lovely. And I relate to those examples as well. So I think this is something that can be of value to a wide range of people, not just teenagers, but also people helping teenagers and others, people that just want to get some assistance on their own as adults. Now, I've got two kind of interrelated questions. I'll ask I'll ask them both together and then have you see if you can answer them for me, maybe separately. But in your
Okay.
experience, you've worked with a lot of youth and you've written this book, and I understand that your book is based on a program that you did for many years. So it's based on a proven um, set of practices. So my question is what do you think is the most difficult issue, emotion, or issue that young people are dealing with today? And the interrelated question, follow-up question is, what do you think is most hopeful?
Well, I think the most difficult thing right now for the kids is nobody really knows how to identify their feelings. They have no idea about actually what they're feeling. Anger is an emotion that comes and precedes a painful feelings. And a lot of times we have to decode that anger. We live in a pretty angry world if you look around, and we need to get our young people to realize that anger, there's always a painful feeling that goes under it, and they need to figure it out before they can actually problem solve. Now, did you have another part of that question?
I
Oh, there
wonder
you are.
what do you find most hopeful?
Oh, what's hopeful? Well, you know, I guess I really believe in the spiritual nature of people. Um, I think when you tap into the the virtues and the values and the character development, that's going to be the thing. Because this is how we relate to each other. We relate with affection, with love. If we're going to do that, hopefully we will do more cooperation and collaboration instead of competition. And I think for young people, it's very comforting for them, especially to acquire these virtues and have these virtues uh, displayed back to them. You know, we have this thing in our society sometimes that we kind of isolate ourselves and we kind of isolate our feelings, and I just think it's more comforting if we can relate to each other in a more positive way. And like I say, you know, we're kind of all we're all created the same way. I mean, there's nothing wrong with anybody. I mean, we all have our strengths and our weaknesses and our problems, and well, I think we need to learn a little bit more acceptance and a little bit less prejudice. You know, there's a lot of prejudice in this world, and we got to teach our kids, you know, to go beyond that. We need to have them go beyond what we did when we were growing up. We need we're in a new world right now, and it has a room for everybody. Everybody has a place in this new world. So I think the kids need to know that.
Well, I love that message of acceptance and room for everybody. And can you tell me a little bit about your, just to kind of wrap it up, can you tell us a little bit about your availability? Are you able to do events? Do you do speaking engagements?
Hmm. Well, you know, the whole purpose of this whole project was to help as many kids as you can. I mean, that's kind of what I think it's all about. So I'm pretty much going to do whatever it takes to make sure I can get these messages out because I know they will help kids. So as far as doing speaking engagements or workshops or talking to a group of parents or talking to a group of kids, I'm pretty much open. I'd like to get into the school districts because you can take this book. It's really a mental health program. And this is a mental health program that you can actually implement school wide very effectively. And you can make it measurable so you can actually chart the progress that you're making with it. And I have no doubts whatsoever that it will help the kids. And the thing is, if you incorporate it into a school, everybody has a role that's clearly spelled out, so you can help these kids because these kids are in our schools, and what better place to work with them than there?
Well put. And I hope that everybody listening will help get this important book, How to Be Happy Being You by Dennis M. Hargis, out there where it needs to be, where the youth are, where people that are helping youth can teach how to identify feelings and how to deal with them. Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you, Mickey.
Talk to you another time soon. Bye, Al.
Okay.